The first sort of lab discussion of the class, and what the lab discussion essentially is taking the data you collected, and this is kind of the time that you analyze it, discuss it, and sometimes you'll be sharing that with the group, but not for this one. So this is what you'll see. This is sort of the dashboard here in terms of what the lab will look like, and these are the instructions. And so what you'll do is you'll go through this video, and this week all I want you to do is to find codes similar to what you did last week, and then from those codes to develop themes. And you'll turn in both your Word document with the codes, and then a second document with the codes and themes. And so I'll show you what I'm looking for right here. And so bring this up. Okay, so this is the same interview I showed last week, but it's a little different. It's the same interview I showed last week, and this was an interview, like I said, that I did in grad school, where I was essentially, interviewing and going through the process of sort of doing these codes and themes. So it provides a good example. And this was a grad student who was a single mom, and just kind of getting an idea of what her day was. And so what I did is I made codes that sort of popped out at me from the text. You were asked to do that last week, and you'll be doing that again with putting a little more detail and time into sort of figuring out these codes based on your observations. And one of the questions I did get was how to essentially do these little tabs over here. So to do that, you will highlight the text you want to essentially make a note on. Go up to Insert, then go up to Comment, and then you can just add a comment right here based on whatever you feel like you want to share, or whatever code you end up coming up with. And so I'll just put code there, and then that's it. So what you will be doing is essentially doing something like this, where you'll go through your typed out Word text and making codes that pop out at you as you're going through that process. The second thing you want to do then is you want to take all those codes, and so these are the codes I have here. I have nutrition, a lot of stuff. She's talking about some of the foods that she fed her daughter and some of the things that they would eat for breakfast. And so I've taken these are codes here, and I put them in sort of a separate document, and this is the code information that I've gotten from the text here, these highlighted texts, and I've gone through and I made codes, and I kind of grouped those together. And then I've come up with the thematic categories, which I've highlighted up here. And so based on what I feel this data is telling me, and what the individual was telling me as I was doing the interview, or the observation, the information I was getting from that, I've grouped those codes together here, and then I've come up with a thematic category, which I've titled Nutrition and Regeneration. There's a lot of information on some of the stuff she would do before she'd go to school, some of the childcare things that she'd have to provide for her daughter, drop her off, and that whatnot. And so I've grouped those into a different category, and this is being a caregiver. That's sort of the thematic category I've come up with. And then the other ones were related to stress, early morning, very busy, and I've grouped those into anxiety and pressure. And so this is what I would like you guys to do this week, is to go through and essentially come up with codes and include those in your Word document here, and then group the codes together and come up with a thematic category. There's no right answer for this. This is really based on some of what you get from the data, and what because you were the one who was in there and were observing within and outside the classroom. And so it really is based on your own experience and what you end up getting from the text that you've taken down. This video is helpful. The content of the video is related to the work of this researcher who does some research in the prisons. He goes through and talks about finding themes and developing thematic categories. And so the process is quite helpful to go through, although the content is not, it's not a child development related. It's related to some of the prison work he did. And then next week, we will be doing something similar with our interviews that we'll be doing in a couple weeks, where we'll be doing a thematic network, but that's not important for this week. Okay, so if there's any questions, don't hesitate to send me a course message.